Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of Washington Football Team's unfiltered show, The Beat. I am your host, Chip Brierre, as the football team heads north to take on the 0-5 New York Giants, beginning an important stretch for this franchise. We bring in our panel to get us set for Sunday's action. We have Kim Jones of the NFL Network. We also have Darren Haynes of WUSA 9, sports director, and Brian Mitchell, the former Washington Football Team running back and specialist. So we're going to start off with our opening drive. The big story from this past week and this week, the return of 11, Alex Smith. 693 days, 17 surgeries, almost lost a leg, almost lost his life, and he took the field in the final moments of the second quarter with his family in attendance. Darren, I want to start with you because you were out there at the game and we were all watching from at home. You were in the stadium. You saw him take the field. And I said on social media, I've never had this feeling ever for a player in terms of just fear for their safety. What was that environment like for you?
Well, I will say the fear for the safety part is a great way to put it because nobody knew how strong that actual leg was. But aside from being scared and nervous for Alex Smith, once he took that first hit and then he also broke a few tackles and started to scramble and protect himself, I was like, okay, this guy's kind of back. But what an amazing moment, because I was there when they took on the Houston Texans and he got hurt. And then to finally see that full circle for him to get back, and we know what his leg looked like when he almost lost his leg. It was ugly. To see someone come back from an injury that we have never seen an NFL player come back from ever before was an amazing testimony that I don't care all the negativities in this world. If somebody says you can't do something, forget them. Alex Smith proved that anything is possible.
You know, as a former player, I was probably as nervous as his wife anyway, to be honest with you on that, because I was afraid for him. But I love the whole story, how he fought back. But then when you look at it as a guy who played on the field, you still understand those little subtle things that a guy has to be able to do to say that that's completely 100% back. Where he is right now, I think many people never thought he could get there, but he is there. But ultimately, I think a lot of people want to see that next step where when those impromptu things start to happen, instead of playing things and being able to, somebody is coming in where he can just stop, boom, and get out of it. Those things, when that happened, we would know that he's completely back, and then we can see the Alex Smith that we once saw before.
Kim, you represent the national landscape of reaction to Alex Smith's return. I saw all of the media pundits, all of the athletes that were watching the game just in awe of this man's return to form. How were you witnessing it for the NFL Network, and how did everyone across the league react to Alex Smith's return?
Well, and I was in the press box that day. I mean, I think I have a kind of a unique tie-in with Alex Smith. We were at Inova at the same time. The Thursday before that game, I suffered an aortic dissection while at the Washington Football Team facility, and the doctors and there, were the initial people who saved my life. And I remember after my surgery, so it was 2 days after my surgery, knowing that Alex came in because Tanya Snyder came to visit me because she was at the hospital to visit Alex. And I'm holding my 2020 Inova Honors invitation, where I went last year as a guest of honor, which was awesome. And I saw Alex and Liz there. And this year they are among the guests of honor. So, I certainly don't know them well. That's not my point. I've said hello and small talk with both of them last year. And I'm among the millions of football fans who wishes Alex Smith well. But I just kept thinking, don't take a hit. And Aaron Donald, don't break him. And I can't imagine what his family was thinking and the emotions they were having, because in the press box, I think we were all holding our breath.
Yeah, and it's weird too, because everything that happened on that day was so celebratory for Alex Smith, but the NFL giveth, and then the NFL taketh away. The same day Alex Smith returns on the field, got prayers out to Dak Prescott. He goes down with a leg injury, pretty gruesome to see in live action. He had surgery. We hope he's recovering well. Darren, even though it kind of leaves the NFC East wide open because Andy Dalton's going to be the quarterback for the Cowboys and the Washington Football Team goes up into New York to face the Giants, which we're going to dive in deeper in the next segment. How wide open does it become now with no real guarantee of quarterback? Because even Carson Wentz is struggling for the Eagles.
I mean, it's already on paper, the numbers wise. I don't care. Even when Dak Prescott was even playing, you can tell the Cowboys were struggling. Yes, they're leading the division as of right now. but there really isn't a quality football team. We know the Giants are bad. We know the Washington football team is struggling. We know the Washington football team that is struggling beat the Philadelphia Eagles that are also struggling. And now you put into the equation the Dallas Cowboys. We don't know if they're going to be as good as they used to be without Dak Prescott. So it is wide open.
But what I think, though, I think Dallas right now, if you start running behind Zeke Elliott, they are the team to beat in this division. I think we sit here in this day and age and we want to throw the ball around. But what I watch in this division, nobody can stop the run. And I look with the Washington football team, they give up a lot of runs. This may be something where Dallas can say, okay, let's go back to our old ways and run behind Zeke. And then all of a sudden, Andy Dalton becomes better. So I think in some way, every team has to start thinking about, can I run the football? Can I stop the run? If you can do a combination of those two, you can win this division. It's not very good at this point, but if you can run the ball and stop it, you have a better chance than anybody else.
Well, and to play off B. Mitch, which I enjoy doing, I'm old enough that I covered him. So it feels right that I'm
Look way younger than I do, though, Kim.
Following you here. If you look at CeeDee Lamb, you might be talking about Rookie of the Year right now. And I'm sure there are some others in the mix that I'm not counting. But if you start running it with Zeke and you can open it up for that receiver, you were talking about an explosive 1-2 punch that I don't think the rest of the division can match.
Yeah, it's going to be a wide open race. Ron Rivera, it seems like the chips are falling in place for him to go for that division title, as he alluded to before playing the Rams a week ago. We got to hit the break, but when we come back with Kim Jones, Brian Mitchell, and Darren Haynes, take your picks in the matchup between Washington and New York. Keep it locked. You're watching The Beat.
We all know things are different. Keeping you safe is not. At Innova, we ensure the safety of everyone who comes to us with safe locations, safe supplies, safe cleaning, and safe practices. You're safe at Innova. Get the facts at innova.org/safety.
COVID changed everything. More demands on students, parents, educators. But there was a $4 billion education shortfall in Maryland even before COVID. We have a lot to do for our kids. Close the digital divide, provide opportunities to pursue vocational and technical education, and hire more qualified teachers. Question 2 will put millions into Maryland schools using revenue from sports betting. I know it won't solve every problem, but a yes vote will help our Maryland schools.
It's 2020. Let's make a splash. Play the DC Lottery's Roaring Cash.
Free healthcare. Hundreds to more than $1,000 per month in disability compensation and tens of thousands for college tuition. These are just some of the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs benefits that may be available to veterans. VA is focused on customer service like never before. Choose VA and see why veterans' trust in VA reached an all-time high. Claim the benefits you've earned at choose.va.gov.
This fall, if you're looking for an adventure, find it in the new Honda, like the turbocharged Accord, the turbocharged all-wheel drive CR-V, and the all-wheel drive HR-V, with great features like second-row magic seats. It's time to explore and say hello to the open road. Don't miss your chance to get a great deal on your favorite Honda model. When it comes to the best value, Honda leaves the others in the dust. See your local Honda dealer and start your adventure today.
Welcome back to The Beat. Chip Brierre, your host, alongside Kim Jones, the NFL Network, Brian Mitchell, former Washington football team running back and specialist, and Darren Haynes, sports director for WUSA 9 CBS in DC. So we got a big matchup, even though the team's records don't reflect it, with a combined 1-9. This is a big one for standing, and we're going to take our picks in this matchup. Kyle Allen is the starting quarterback for Washington. Daniel Jones has been the starter since last year after taking over for Eli Manning. So let's start with Kim. Take your pick, Kyle Allen or Daniel Jones?
Well, because Daniel Jones has not solved the turnover ball security issues, I'm going to take Kyle Allen. And I also think that Kyle Allen won't be facing Montez Sweat, for whom I am so happy that he is on the field, a productive player and able to overcome. I love stories where players overcome, and he has. So he's not going to be facing Sweat, and he's not going to be facing Chase Young. So I'm going to go ahead and take Kyle Allen in that one.
B-Mitch, you on board with that as
I
well?
am, and I think, that's the thing about it. Kim covered the NFC East, and I'm from the NFC East, and I believe that the big guys are going to make it happen. Both of them struggle on offensive line, but when you flip it over to defensive line, I think Washington has the better chance. You saw when they saw a depleted line against Philadelphia, that how they were pinning their ears back and going and get the quarterback. And you watch against Dallas. Daniel Jones was constantly pressured, and he'll turn over the football. So this is an opportunity for the defense to go out and lead. We thought that they should lead for the last 2 years. This is a game that they should go out there and lead. If they lead, they're going to win.
We move on. Antonio Gibson is breaking out in his rookie year. Devonta Freeman is filling in for the injured Saquon Barkley. So let's stay with Darren. Take your pick.
I'm going Antonio Gibson. I like the young guy out of Memphis. I've been a fan of him since he was drafted. He is a guy, that Swiss Army knife that can just do so much. You look at his Memphis highlight tape and it's just like, whoa, this guy is a beast. I really feel that he's a big reason why Adrian Peterson's now in Detroit, because they see a lot of talent in him. And disregard what he did the previous game. But if you look at those 3 games before that, he scored a rushing touchdown. Every game he was getting better. I'm going with Antonio Gibson on this one.
Kim, what do you think of that? Because Antonio Gibson had 16 touches and 51 scrimmage yards in the loss to the Rams after he broke out with 100-plus scrimmage yards in that loss to the Browns.
Yeah, it's sort of a toss-up for me here. It's hard for me to have that much faith in the D-line for Washington and then pick, Freeman to have a big day. But I'd probably edge towards Freeman in this one.
B-Mitch, you're the deciding vote here.
I think Kim is going right with this. Listen, I love Antonio Gibson just like Darren, to be totally honest with you, but I think Gibson is still learning. And I can visualize the future, because I was a guy that tried to play all multiple positions. But this guy is faster. He's heavier. I think he's strong. But he seems to run into the back of his offensive lineman a little bit, and without having that free-flowing ability of running backs like they need to have. So Devonta Freeman right now is the better running back. Will he have a better game? I can't say that, but he's a better running back. But Gibson has breakaway speed, can do a lot of different things. But just looking at the running back right now, I think I'll go with the guy who's much more fluid at this point.
You know better than most, experience pays dividends in the National Football League. So experience wins out in that pick'em. Washington wide receivers were really bad against the Rams. Only 36 yards on 4 catches. 3 of those catches went to Terry McLaurin. So, B-Mitch, are you going to take them over New York's secondary?
I'm going to take Terry McLaurin over anybody, to be honest with you. And that's the thing about it. I didn't say the Washington receiving core. I'm going to take Terry McLaurin. And I believe that this offense, Scott Turner, and the rest of these coaches, you need to find a way to give him opportunities. I don't want to hear all this talk about, we just go through the offense and we throw it to him if he's open. Every team in the NFL finds a way to put the ball into the hands of their big playmakers. And Terry McLaurin is the only one that you have consistently. So you need to find ways to have him in motion, setting him up, giving him all type of crossing routes, get the ball to him, because he's the only guy on this team that can go out there and just blow up and win a game for you. So I'm going to go with Terry McLaurin over anybody.
Darren, we're going to go to you now for the battle in the trenches. O-line, D-line. Which side do you like better for Washington or New York?
I like the defensive line for Washington. I mean, look who you have. You have Montez Sweat. You also have Chase Young, who's back and healthy. And then you have Ryan Kerrigan, who can also bounce in there. Jonathan Allen. I mean, the whole front line, Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, they've been good up front. So I will go with the defensive line for Washington.
Yeah, and for my entire career, I have been a big believer in confidence making a great deal of difference for athletes. And B, Mitch, I think I see you nodding. I've never talked to an athlete about that who disputes it. If I'm Chase Young and if I'm Montez Sweat, I go into that game Sunday with a true confidence that if I swipe at the ball, if I slap at the ball, I am likely going to be rewarded at some point with an opportunity to recover a fumble. that for me, if I were ever a defensive lineman in this league, would be an incredible carrot on the stick. And I think Chase Young and Sweat will absolutely make Daniel Jones's life miserable on Sunday.
It certainly worked for Chase Young week 1 against the Eagles. We take a break and then go around the NFL with our panel. Kim Jones, Brian Mitchell, Darren Haynes. You're watching The Beat. Keep it locked right here.
If you're looking for adventure, you'll find it in a Honda SUV, like the turbocharged all-wheel drive CRV with driver assist safety features and $2,000 less than the Toyota RAV4. Right now, drive a new CRV for only $219 a month, or get low 0% financing on the all-wheel drive HRV with second-row magic seats and a lower comparably equipped price than the Subaru Crosstrek. When it comes to the best value, Honda leaves the others in the dust. Start your adventure online or in-store now at your local Honda dealer.
This is London Fletcher. Join me in supporting the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration's Red Ribbon Week and National Prescription Drug Take Back Day. Talk to your loved ones about drug misuse, participate in drug prevention and education activities, and take the pledge to be drug-free. Then on Saturday, October 24th, clean out your medicine cabinet of unused, unwanted, expired prescription drugs to take part in National Prescription Drug Take Back Day. Visit DEATakeback.com to find a collection site near you.
FanDuel's new Best Ball Leagues make it easy to play season-long fantasy. Draft once and FanDuel will optimize your lineup each week. But to make it even easier...
What's up, Jeff?
We hired head coach Jeff Fisher to help Tony on game days.
I've studied the matchups, I've adjusted for bye weeks and injuries, and I'm making paella.
But I'm allergic to shellfish.
You know I can't make it without shrimp.
Thank you, Jeff. You're doing a great job.
FanDuel's Best Ball. There's no easier way to play season-long fantasy. Leagues start at $1. Make your first deposit and get a bonus worth up to $500.
COVID changed everything. More demands on students, parents, educators. But there was a $4 billion education shortfall in Maryland even before COVID. We have a lot to do for our kids. Close the digital divide, provide opportunities to pursue vocational and technical education, and hire more qualified teachers. Question 2 will put millions into Maryland schools using revenue from sports betting. I know it won't solve every problem, but a yes vote will help our Maryland schools.
At Inova, COVID-19 testing of all patients having a procedure or surgery, continuous training of our team members, and thorough cleaning of our facilities are just some of the many ways we work to keep you safe. You're safe at Inova.
It's touchdown time again, and maybe time for you to score too with the Washington Touchdown Scratcher from the DC Lottery. Don't miss your special chance to win the top prize of $50,000 instantly. There's over $300,000 in total cash prizes remaining. Get your Washington Touchdown Scratcher today, only from the DC Lottery. Lots of people win.
Welcome back to our final segment of The Beat. We're going to get into this segment, who you're watching. We're going to go around the panel. We're going to pick one player we're watching, the Washington football team, New York Giants matchup. Let's start with Kim. Which player are you watching this Sunday?
Well, I've already established my love for the D-line, and I love D-lines that get after it. So I'm going to say McLaurin, and I know it's an easy one, but he is so fun to watch. He is so technically sound from what I know, and he's the difference maker. And he is an absolute keeper in Washington, so I'm going to go McLaurin.
My eyes are riveted on Kyle Allen. I can't look at anybody else. All the pressure's on him. Ron Rivera feels like he's that guy who can turn this team around. All the Dwayne Haskins stuff that's been going on all week long puts even more pressure to make sure he steps up and he gets this team back on the winning side of things. I'm looking at Kyle Allen to try to pull this team through and get their second win of the season.
B. Mitch, your player to
watch.
watch.
I have a question. It has to be a player, and does it have to be one player? I'm watching,
it can be one player, it can be two players, it can be a group of players. You just tell me what you're watching.
I'm watching the offensive coordinator in Scott Turner and how he goes out and game plans for this game, because I know a lot of pressure is starting to build on him as well. You know, I know what his dad has done. I need to see Scott start to get into that position. And I'm watching the offensive line. I think that if this offense is going to get better and they're going to start doing things that Scott wants to do, they have to block and give the quarterback time and give the running back some holes. So I'm watching that group of people on the field, and I'm watching that young man in the press box.
So there it is, the people to watch for this Sunday when Washington heads up to New York to face the 0-5 Giants. The winner in this matchup gets a leg up in the NFC race, chasing down the Dallas Cowboys, who Washington plays in Week 7 before the bye. Thank you to our panel, Darren Haynes of WUSA 9, Sports Director, Brian Mitchell, former Washington football team running back and specialist. You can listen to him on the Team 980 and catch him on NBC Sports Washington, part of Washington's team coverage, and Kim Jones. You can catch her over on the NFL Network. I'm Chip Brierre. Thanks so much for tuning in. We will see you again next week as we get ready for the Cowboys. Enjoy the game this Sunday.